You've tuned in to Limited Knowledge. Oh yeah! A Windmill Slam production. Good evening, fans of M15 Draft. Count Beardley here with this week's episode of Limited Knowledge. It's probably not a unique name. Someone probably already calls themselves that. But nonetheless, this is a brand new series with its number one goal being to help you draft M15 better. Help you be prepared to plan ahead and build your deck as you're drafting. This isn't the perfect deck. This is a very common type deck. There's 5 or 6, I think, archetypes in M15 that shall be highlighted in this series. Deck number 1 is the old Voke and Pump. And here's what it might look like. Some Selfless Cathars, which are, you can pick really late in draft. Soul Menders you can pick whenever, and you only really need to run them if you found 1 or 2 Pride Mates. An Elvish Mystic or 2. Johnny's Pride Mate is always early pickable. Your standard Oresco Swiftclaw, Raise the Alarm ×2, very easy to take, especially late. Vanilla 2/2, Titanic Growth, a couple of combat tricks, never hurts. In 3 drops, something like Netcaster Spiders or Midnight Guards are great to pick up. 4 drops, Razorfoot Griffins. If you can pick up some Hunt the Weeks, unfortunately you generally have to take them pretty early. They don't often wheel. You know, if there's not like a Triplicate Spirits or a Siege Worm there, I think you can take Hunt the Weeks. Then you've got Living Totem. The start of the voking part. Obviously the spells, the Selfless Cathars, and the sideboard, I'll explain what that is. They're more of the pumping portion, if you know what I mean. So in the 4 drops, standard Razorfoot Griffin, you know, Living Totems, Shaman of Spring. You can take these super late. One of my favorite combat tricks for any aggro deck, blue-white aggro, red-white aggro, is Sanctified Charge. If you can run 2 if you want, but if you have a lot of white creatures, then maybe consider running 2, especially with the card that this deck generally runs on. You get a couple triplicate spirits, a couple of Siege Worms. These are your win conditions up here. So if you end up with the idea is flood the board and get them with tricks or activated abilities of things like the Selfless Cathar, or I put some cards over here in what I'm calling the sideboard. These are just nice to haves, or cards that I like to swap in if they're available. Obviously, Sunblade Elf does amazing in this deck. If you find 1, sometimes you find 2. Paragon of Eternal Wilds is always great. Any Paragons, really. But I like giving Trample. And Restocks are great. Some nice uncommons to swap in. But the entire purpose of this deck is simply to watch the sign. Well, first of all, you want to watch the signals on your left and your right when you're picking. And you'll see if you get some Triplicate Spirits passed to you, you get some Siege Worms passed to you, you can build this deck no problem. You can win, I think, 2 out of 3 of most matches with a deck like this. If you happen to get a nice on-color rare, something crazy like, I don't know, Soul of Theros, or a Planeswalker, or, you know, anything crazy, you should be able to take down your local draft or MTGO draft fairly easy. Which brings us to the very end of this episode of Limited Knowledge. So keep your eye out for the Pump-N-Voke deck in M15. It's there for you to win your next draft with. We'll see you next week when we look at red-white enchantments. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, check out some of our most popular playlists, from MTG vlogs, sick gameplay videos, new product breaks, and some insane vintage openings. I upload 3 to 4 new Magic the Gathering videos every week, so if you haven't already, please take a moment to crush that subscribe button to join one of the fastest growing Magic the Gathering channels on YouTube. Talk to you later.